Track Wrestling with Greg Williams of Utah Valley University. What's being in the Big 12 done for your program?
I think, it forces us to raise our game. I mean, I think with recruiting, you get some guys that want to be there, so that might have helped us a little bit there. But mostly it's just, you can't go out and hide when you go out there and wrestle. So it was, I think the level of guys we were recruiting right at that time, the timing was really good for us to make that move. And I think our guys have responded well. We can keep them healthy. It's a pretty good team. We just aren't a good program yet. We don't have the depth. And so when I've got guys out, we've got to get better there if we want to compete regularly at this level.
Is there an automatic interest when you go into the Big 12 from fans?
Yeah, especially when you're talking about what teams are coming into wrestling. I mean, Utah has a lot of educated fans, and we get pretty good fan base. We average usually over 1,000, a match. But, they love to see, like we had Wisconsin come out this year, when Iowa State comes out next week. Those are big matches for us. There'll be a lot of people there, and they just love to see good wrestling. They'll root for us, but, they're just excited to have good teams come in.
Do the Sandersons still have an influence in Utah?
Sandersons will always have an influence in Utah. I mean, what that family has done, what Steve did as a coach, and what all the sons have done wrestling-wise, they're legends there. People look up to them. We have a lot of Utah fans that are Utah Valley fans, but they're also Penn State fans because, it's family. It's Utah family.
Why did Taylor Lamont opt out of his Olympic red shirt?
Probably the biggest reason was that the chance of qualifying that weight was not looking good. I think he has a lot of confidence in himself as far as trying to earn that spot if he was to put all that time in. But ultimately he came to me and said, Coach, I feel like if I do this, he really wants to be a part of this team. We've lost some guys since that we thought were going to be in our lineup, and so it was supposed to be a special year for us, and we've lost a couple guys for the year. So, but he really wanted to be a part of that after having to sit out last year with an injury.
What have the Orndorffs done for your program?
Oh, the Orndorffs are great. Like the two Orndorffs, as well as Taylor and Kimball Bastian and Demetrius Romero and Matt Finley. It's brought a different culture in our room, the work ethic, the confidence that they have. And, we need to have that catch fire with some of our younger guys and understand that confidence and how you go out and wrestle those matches. But the two Orndorffs, they're leaders on our team, whether they're being vocal, which they are, or just the way they go about their business, in school, on the mat, in their personal lives.
You said you're not a good team yet. How do you get good?
If we can stay healthy. Like, we have a really good team if we have Demetrius and Matt Finley and Kimball Bastian in our lineup. We've had a couple other guys that are out because of some different things, but just continue to try to recruit the right kids that buy into the system, and then just we've got to find a way to have them be healthy.
You wrestle for Utah State. How did that program get dropped? Why did it get dropped? And when you look back at it, is it still painful for you?
I was out of the program for 5 years when it dropped. I was still involved. I was local in the area. I was coaching. It was really tough to swallow. And like everybody knows, Title IX was a huge influence at that time. And so they were looking to drop, some men's sports to make it more equal. Title IX was a great thing, and we've seen the results of that for our women. As we know, it kind of hurt some of the minority sports as schools chose not to add more women's sports, to get equal to what the men's have, but to start dropping some men's to make it equal. It was just an unfortunate side effect that nobody expected. But yeah, it was really tough. That program was doing well until they dropped our funding, which was actually before they dropped the program. So,
for those programs that want to get in, how can Utah Valley lead the way? Because you guys started up again. How can these programs, the Division I programs, get back into the fold?
Well, there's got to be a lot of support behind it. We actually raised $150,000 to save BYU's program, and it didn't work. And so when Utah Valley was adding one more men's sport to try to, be Division I and to apply for Division I status, we had $150,000. We'd go and say, hey, we can use this to help start it, and that was one factor of why they added, and there were some other factors as well. So it's got to be a huge community effort to help push that, and there's got to be some good reasons for the school to feel like, hey, this is a good thing to add. And you're seeing it in the non-Division I schools. We'd like to see that start. As the women's sport continues to grow, we see that in Division I. Hopefully that will start adding some men's sports there as well.
Does an All-American mean more at Utah Valley or a program like Utah Valley?
Oh, absolutely. What we expected this year was 4 or 5 All-Americans. We had 6 guys that have been ranked somewhere around the top 10, if not the top 10, at some point early or during this year. we're still open to have multiple All-Americans. And as we do, our recruiting will continue to get better. If we don't, we won't recruit the kinds of kids that we need to have there.
How do we get an NCAA championship out to your area?
You know what? Let's get it out to the West, period. But, I don't know. That's something that's, again, got to be something that goes through Mike Moyer, and that we have a strong effort for that. I know Arizona State having a good program. What they're doing might gain some pull to try to push something out that way. But again, just like building the program, you have to have a lot of voices and some good reasons for it. I think the West would love to have it out here. I think the East would probably not. The Midwest is a nice, St. Louis is a really nice venue for everybody. Everybody feels like it's central, and they do a great job of hosting it. That's why we see it there so often. But I would like to see one in the West, every few years.
What are your thoughts on RTCs?
Oh, boy, that's a bag. I like them if they were regulated the way that they could be regulated. It's just really hard to regulate it. So I'm supportive of having it. I would like to have it, but I would like to have it in a way that makes it kind of more equal and doesn't really favor anybody over another, which is why some of them are fighting it, because they can't compete with some of the money and some of the other ones. But there really are. The USA was thinking NC2A could regulate it. NC2A, has now stepped up, and so we'll see a lot more regulations. But I hope we're able to keep them.